Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be playing Ranch Simulator. We'll be starting a new game and progressing throughout the game and showing you guys what I do to make money and to get through most of the game and how to do certain things in the game. It's going to start you off with a bunch of tutorials and you'll get prompted the option to either skip or continue with the tutorial. I'm going to show you how to do the tutorial as well as get started with the ranch. There's some mini missions that I'll show you how to do, but right here you can hit don't skip and you'll spawn in your ranch. You'll spawn at the base of your farm and you'll have to use W, A, S, and D to walk around. You can use spacebar to jump. There's all sorts of different things you can do, but for starters you're going to want to walk over to this blue dot to begin the first tutorial. You're going to want to walk over to this blue dot and read the letter. The letter is located on the table. To get into the barn, you press E and then head over to the desk and hit E on the letter to actually read it. This is a letter from your grandfather, which basically says that you're going to now take over the ranch and take ownership of it. And he's left you a few things in the attic that will help us get started. As you can see, this is a pretty torn down ranch. So we're going to head over to the other barn over here. But first you can see right here there's a tent where you can set your spawn point by holding down E and then press spacebar to get out. You can sleep at night, but as you can see it's not nighttime out, so it is something we'll have to come back to and I'll have to show you how to do once it gets to be the nighttime. So over here you see this big barn that we're actually going to end up tearing down in a little bit, but for now let's go find the radio. Most of the time you're going to want to hit E on doorways to get into it. It's a little tricky to find where this radio is, but I'm pretty sure it's right over here. And once again, you hit E to turn on the radio. And we're gonna head up the stairs, which if I remember correctly is right behind us. You're going to want to demolish this, so hold down Tab and then move to the right to demolish. Now in this mode, everything will pop up red, in which you can demolish all sorts of different things like the walls or the stairs. But we're going to want to walk up here to get this chest, and be careful not to fall. And then make sure you hold down Tab again and go back to hand, or you will not be able to open up the chest. There will be a letter in here that will basically talk about a UTV, and talk about a revolver that was in the chest. The UTV will have to build from the barn that's in the front of the farm. And we will actually build that next. So now I'm actually going to walk out of here, find my way out, and I will show you guys how to collect the various things we need for the UTV, which are located in the other shed. Apparently you can't actually fall down here. I thought you could, but find your way out of here. You're gonna have to walk around. Don't worry, this will get destroyed. It will not stay like this for long. But let's build the UTV first after turning off this radio, because this audio is getting kind of annoying. You can see all these blue markers, which is where you'll go to grab parts. Here's a seat, let's bring it over on our walk over, and we'll connect it to the broken body of the UTV. You can get in from this door right here, which is the way we're actually going to leave. And then you're going to connect everything to the UTV body right here and just keep going around and grabbing all the pieces you need. We'll need this gas tank, which will actually most likely keep in the UTV, because that way if we run out of gas we can use that tank, and that way we could use it for various other things, which you'll probably end up seeing in future videos. Once the quest is complete, hit E to get into the car, hit F to turn it on, and W, A, S, and D to drive. Let me grab this jerry can, we'll open up the trailer hitch and put it right back here, and then close the trailer hitch, that way it doesn't fall out. Things can still fall out, as you'll probably realize in a later video, and we're going to drive over to the gas station. You can see that blue mark, which is where we're headed. We're going to take this road that's dirt all the way to the end, and then take a left. We'll follow that road down for a little bit, and then the gas station will be pretty much straight in front of us, but once we take the bend in the road, it'll be on the left. There looks to be a deer right here, so I'm going to stop my car and we're actually going to shoot it and put the meat in the back of the UTV. If you aim the revolver right now, you'll see that I can't actually shoot. It's because my revolver is not reloaded. Hit R to reload, you'll see you have 6 bullets in the bottom right, and we're actually going to try and shoot it before it runs away. You'll see it fall when it dies. Now I'm going to bring the UTV a little bit closer and put the meat in the back of the UTV. So you're going to have to actually skin it, and then it should have probably about 3 pieces of meat that we'll end up putting in the back of the trailer. We'll use a cooler later in the game to be able to put more meat in the back of this cab, and then we'll be able to sell it for some money, because the whole game you really need to get money, and then you can buy different equipment and different crops and things like that. The gas station is right up here on the bend, and what you're going to have to do is grab the nozzle of the gas, and then you can put it either in the jerry can or you can put it in the car. I'm going to fill up both. So right here, put it into there, and then hit E to start fueling. You'll see your money start to go down, and you'll see the liters start to be able to be charged to your account, and you'll be able to see how many liters you're actually buying. It will stop when it's done, so I'm going to grab it and now I'm going to put it into the UTV right here. And you can see that there's no money being withdrawn from my account, so go back over to the gas station, hit E, and now it will say quest complete, because it really wants you to put gas in the UTV, not in the jerry can, but it will be helpful, and we have the extra money right now that this will end up being helpful for. Now let's drive back to the farm, which is just a short little drive. You can always use your map if you don't know how to get back. Actually, let's head to the real estate agent first, as it's just a little bit past the farm. You'll see up here on the right will be the dirt road to get back into the property of the farm. If you go a little bit past it though, you'll see a dealership, and the real estate agent will be right in the back of it. So this is where you can take out a loan. Let's go and just interact with the bank teller, and we can come back here later if we need a loan. I don't usually like to do that though, because the interest is pretty high. Now let's head over to the sales agent for the dealership, which once again is pretty much in the same building. Let me just circle around here. We'll have to enter through this door in the corner. First, let's actually kill this deer. We'll get some more deer meat, which we can sell again for some profit. So in this building right here, you can actually buy all sorts of different cars, and you'll be able to see that some of them have different animals you can fit in them. Some of them have different storage, different shapes. Some of them's harvesters. There's a tractor in here. There's all sorts of different stuff. First, let's interact with the guy for a little bit, and he'll be able to show us our options. And then if we say goodbye, and then once we leave and come back, you'll be able to actually go inside and actually buy those things. But let me get to the next objective, which is to buy some upgrades for the UTV, which in doing so, you have to go into the garage as you just saw me do and complete the upgrades. Next, we're going to go to the hardware store, which is a pretty short drive away. And from the hardware store, you'll be able to buy all sorts of different equipment. This equipment will include stuff like concrete and different tools, baskets, stoves, all the kind of essentials you'll need. There's also a general store on the north side of our farm, which we'll go to in a little bit, where you can get seeds and animals and things like that. There's a few duplicates between stores, but for the most part you'll have to go to the right store in order to get what you're looking for. The hardware store is right here. I'm just going to drive around the back because I have a feeling we're going to need to buy something, and that's where it'll spawn, in the back. This is where you'll go, this orange circle right here, in order to sell things that are in your cart. Let me reload this revolver before I forget. And we're gonna head in here. There's a computer to the right, and from there you'll be able to sell and buy. So to enter onto the computer, press E. For now, let's buy the axe, the crowbar, and the cheap table saw, which is part of the quest on what it wants you to do. Go to purchase, hit checkout, and then as I mentioned, they will be right here. You'll have to grab them individually and put them in your cart, which you may have to do a little rearranging here. Make sure you don't set it up. It's not a huge deal if you do, but you'll want to put it back in the box in order to transport it back to the farm. These tools will auto go into your inventory in that tab button that we used earlier to demolish, and same with the crowbar. They'll both be right there. Now let's drive back, and we're actually going to make a pit stop before we drive back. We're going to sell this meat because, as you can see, the trunk is getting pretty full. So let's get some money from it, and we're actually going to stop at this place right down the road here to sell it. This place is called Best Burger. It's not too far from the farm, and sometimes you can get upgraded pricing for certain items. So I've just gotten a good habit of just selling here every time I sell something. The computer is right here on the right. Hit sell to sell one kind. Hit sell all to sell everything in your car. The monitor, right when you walk in, shows you what they're giving a high price for right now. We don't really have any of those, but it's nice to get into the habit to come here in case you happen to have one of those items in your car as you're trying to sell these items. Now, let's head back to the general store, which we've actually never been there before. It'll get the next quest complete. Just take this road up here, go up here, and then at this intersection, take a left, and you'll be able to head towards that blue marker once again. Or you can always open up the map if you want to use that option to get to the general store. The farm is directly to my right about now. So once again, everything is relatively close to the farm. Until we do a later quest, we'll have to do a lot of driving. But for now, we're going to stay pretty much near the farm. Let's walk in this store and talk to the teller. She's going to have us buy 2 chickens in an egg basket. Once again, using the pretty similar computer concept, go to the chickens, hit add to cart, hit it twice, and then hit egg basket, which is 2 below it, and check out. And now it's going to be a little bit tricky to put these chickens in the car. There's not a whole lot of room in the car. You don't have to shut the door. Sometimes I just like to do it just for fun. Let's put the basket in. Let's try and keep it on the same side. Then we'll put the 2 chickens right over there. You'll have to grab them. Sometimes they do run away. You also have to kind of chase after them, but make sure you have room when you buy them because you could come back and they could be like on the other side of the general store or kind of hard to find. I've had that happen before. Now we can actually head back to the farm. Once you get back, you'll be prompted to unload the chickens. I'm going to unload it kind of by the tent. That is usually where I like to set up, somewhere over here, and we're actually going to take out the chickens. They will run once again, but we'll get something to build before we actually move them. Let's demolish all this stuff. Let's get rid of all this garbage. We're going to build something with our table saw to trap these chickens. So let's grab a table saw. We'll get some wood from the trees. Hold down E, they'll break like this. Then hold down E again to get the logs. And you have to put it into the table saw, but first you'll need to add gas to it. So let's remove the gas, prop it in, turn the saw on, start cutting some wood. We're going to build a fence structure for these chickens just so that they don't run away, because once again they will run away, and we want to use them for eggs that we can sell later, and we could kill them for various meats and stuff. But for the most part, our chickens, we're just going to try and get eggs out of them, and eggs a very good item to sell for good money. If you sort through the book here, you'll find a fence right here. Then you can place them wherever you want, and they'll turn blue. That means it's set for you to build once you get the proper items. You can hold R to rotate once you get one of the corners locked in. It's the easiest way to do it. Or you can butt them up like I just did. Let's just do a small little spot here. Let's do a 2x1. And we're going to put fence gates on one of the sides. That way we can actually get into this area where the chickens are. Let's make sure that this corner is good. See how the corner's, oh, trying to lock in the corner. There we go, looks locked in. Oh, it's actually not. Maybe we'll fix that. And then you gotta try and line them up. Sometimes you can see the last piece turns red, and it's because something's not properly lined up. Let's just do it like that for now. And we're actually going to demolish these two, and we're gonna fix that corner that I was having issues with. But let's first start putting some logs in the saw, because the saw is currently on and nothing's going through it, so we're just wasting gas. So while that's going, let me add these pieces back. So once again, you kind of have to get a corner locked in. It's a little bit tricky. And right there looks good. And then let's build a fence gate right here. You can see that everything wasn't perfectly straight, which is why it's giving me a little gap. That should be fine for now. Chickens aren't going to escape. We could also just lock in that corner, but I want to kind of get it centered without locking in the corner. Actually, yeah, let me mess with this a little bit and I'll let you guys know when I'm done. There we go, now it's all locked in, but don't put the chickens in here quite yet because we can just walk right through that. Let's start adding logs to these fences, and now I'm going to get some wood, continue making these planks, and then continue placing the fences before I unload the chickens. I'll do a short time lapse of me getting the wood and building the fences, and I'll see you guys once I'm done. These are the last two planks right here. Place them in, open up the gate, and start placing the chickens. I'm going to try and place them far, that way they don't run away, and shut the gate. And there you go. Chickens are in their pen. Now, let's actually maybe move this golf cart out of the way. Actually, we can walk to go grab the food. We'll pour it on the spot. It's right around here. I think it's on the back side, if I remember correctly. Oh, nope, it's actually on the inside. Right here, grab this bag. And then we're going to pour it right at the middle of the dirt. You'll never end up doing this again unless you like your food poured on the ground. Personally, I don't like it like that. I like to put it on like a little table or something. But if you put it in, the chickens won't eat it. You'll have to put it in like a little bucket or something, which will build. They will eat it like that if you can pour it right. But once again, I like to build something for them. Just that way it looks a little bit nicer. Let's do some water stuff here. We'll grab this pitcher and we'll put it in the car for now. We might end up moving it by the chickens just by hand. Yeah, actually, let's go grab this pitcher and we'll move it by the chickens. That's where it will likely go, as we'll need to get water to the chickens. That way they don't die. They will have a hunger bar and a thirst bar, and you'll be able to tell when they're out of water and out of food. You're going to want to grab the water bucket, which is by where that first letter was, right here. And we'll place it in that little pitcher thing. And eventually we'll get a well, which will look something like that, but we'll get that a little bit later. You want to place it right here, oops, right there. You can see the quest is now complete, and you're getting rewards each time you do this. Let's build a small coop. I'm going to put it right here for now. Actually, can we fit it inside? Yep, we can. Let's put it right there. That way we don't have to build any more fences. We'll need some wood again to build it. You can walk inside, see what it needs. So let's start gathering some materials. Eventually we will upgrade this to a luxury table saw. You can see I only need a few more pieces. There we go, that was it. And you can see the quest is complete. This one you don't get any money for, but it's alright because we're completing the tutorials. Next, we're actually gonna have to demolish that whole area. But first, let's sleep. That way it's a little brighter out and a little easier to see. So now we can go to the tent, hold down E, and when we wake up, it'll be light out. This quest is a bit of a longer one. It's gonna have you demolish that whole barn building right there. And you're gonna wanna start from the top. It's a little easier because it'll have you work from the top down. As you can see by the objectives, attic first, then second floor, then first floor. So let's climb the stairs and go all the way back up to the attic where that chest was with the revolver. And once we get up here, we'll have to go back into that mode where we demolish by holding down tab. And you'll have to start demolishing just like this, left click. And it will have you delete certain things at a time in order for it to define gravity and be able to delete properly. It'll probably say you need to delete the red one first, but you can just see right here, once I go there and delete it, I can delete pretty much any piece around it as long as I work layer by layer. So I'm going to demolish all this. It does take quite a bit of time, and I'll let you guys know once I'm done. These are the last few pieces right here, and you can see it will demolish all the floor, and in about a few seconds it will despawn and you'll be able to see grass again. It just takes a few seconds for it to despawn. And now we have pretty much demolished everything we want. We can demolish that little building in the back at some point if we want to, but for now that quest is complete. Now let's clean up the chicken farm area a little bit. We'll put the basket down. We'll put eggs in there eventually. Maybe we'll put it on a table. And we'll see if there's any eggs that are being laid. Doesn't look like there are any yet. They're white or orangish dots that you'll see. I don't see any. We'll eventually need to get some water in here, which maybe we should do here pretty soon. For now, I think we're going to plant some crops nearby. Actually, let me put this water back, and I'm going to hop in my UTV. We'll head over to the hardware store, not the general store. We'll head over to the hardware store. We're going to get a sprinkler and a cooler. The cooler, we'll be able to put some meat in, and it'll fit in the UTV a little bit nicely. And then from there, we'll buy a sprinkler, which will help us when we're growing crops, which eventually we'll have to go to the general store and get crops because they don't sell them at the hardware store. I just bought both these items. Let me put the cooler right there. The sprinkler, I think, was just, yep, it's right here. Let's grab that, put it in. It's very small. It will help us, maybe not exactly right now, but it will help us in a little bit. But first, let me buy one more thing that I think would be helpful, and that is another jerry can. That way we can keep one at the table saw, and we can have one for just the UTV. We'll keep the one in the UTV, and we'll keep one at the table saw, unless we're refilling them. It became nighttime very quickly, so I actually went to the settings, and I'm going to make the daylight time really high, and the nighttime time very short. That way, if I'm in a spot where I can't sleep, it will only be nighttime for 10 minutes in the game, and it'll be daytime for 60 minutes. On the way back to the farm, I decided I'm going to stop here at the general store. We'll get some seeds. Maybe we'll start with grapes or strawberries or something simple to grow. If you go right over here and you go to, I think it's under gardening. Yep, it's under garden, not farming. We're going to get some grape seeds. This is one of the best way to make money. We'll get a few packs of those, and we're also going to look around and get some more bullets because that will be helpful. And I think that might be good for now. It is usually a little bit difficult to find where the bullets are, so you might actually have to move your vehicle or kind of just get a different angle on it. As you can see, let me back up here. I can put my headlights right on it. I think it's right here to the left. There we go. And those will go into your inventory. Don't worry about trying to put those in your UTV because you won't be able to. And now back to the farm, which sometimes I'll just off-road it here to the right. Now I think I'm going to put a table right here in the corner. That way I can put some seeds on it. Maybe I'll put the basket on it to put the eggs. And we're also going to build some crop plots just to the left of it. So if you search through this book a little bit, eventually you'll be able to find crop plots. I don't know where everything is quite yet, but I think it might be here in this last one. Nope, this is all housing stuff. It's not here, but you can look through it and kind of see, oh, here it is right here. You can see what various things maybe you'll want to build in the future. Like you can build a custom building by just creating walls and triangles and roofs and stuff. Just be sure you define gravity at least a little bit or it won't be able to build roofs. I've had that happen before. If you build a 2x2 platform like this, you should be able to put the sprinkler right in the center. It is a little bit tricky, but sometimes I like to put it in first, and there we go. Now I can just place these crop plots. I'll gather some wood. I think this time I'm actually going to put the wood in the UTV. For now, let me just put these on the ground because I don't have enough wood to build the table. Let's also build a well. I like to put it somewhere around this corner. You can put it wherever you want. That way we can get some water for the animals, and we're gonna need concrete. So that we'll have to buy at the hardware store. I got the one crop plot done for now. Let me actually grab some water. I just put some grape seeds in there. You can see when the water's full, you'll have to hit them each twice in order to fill it up if it's completely empty. And I'll just put the water right there, back in the cooler, which eventually we'll put it in the well. I just made it over here to the general store. We're gonna buy some food for the chickens, because they, once again, need food. And I believe it's called bag of wheat. Yep, right here. Let's buy a few bags of those, and that way we can keep the chickens full. And if we have extra, we'll just put them in the blue barn, which is one I'm actually going to keep. You can demolish it if you want, but that's one I actually like to keep. While we have the money, I'm actually going to buy a $250 bag of concrete. This will help us build the well. I think we'll have a little bit of extra. Once again, I'm going to put all my equipment into that blue barn. It's one I'm going to be keeping. Might have to do a little bit rearranging here, but hopefully I can fit everything in and get back to the ranch safely with all my belongings. I finished building the well. Now I'm going to put this water bucket in there, and there we go. Now we can grab pretty much infinite water that we want. It will take a little bit of time, but it's a well, so you'll have to crank it down and crank it back up. For now, let's put this into the chicken farm. This is their water source. I may actually have to get in there, and I'm going to shut the door and then re-grab it because I don't want the chickens to escape. You can actually hold the chickens. You don't have to put them on like a lead or anything. And I want to put this in the spot where they can't climb over. That should be fine for now. We'll keep an eye on them. Bigger animals like pigs can climb right over that. So this big one is for food and the small one's for water. So I'm going to build those and I'll show you how to use them. You're actually going to want the small feeding trough for the chickens. And we build that and then build the water source. And you should be able to fit, I believe it's one bag in there of food. Yep, right there. There we go. They are shorter animals, so they need the shorter one. We'll build the big one when we get different animals like pigs and goats. To use the well, you're going to want to crank it up. Put your cursor right here and then hold down E. It gets a little tricky, but once you hold down E, it'll show like a little circle. Once that circle is full, you can grab the bucket out and we'll put it into the water trough. You can actually step over. There we go. Oh, this one right here. You can see that it's 7 out of 21, so I'm going to need to do this 2 more times to fill it up completely, which does take a little bit of time. Eventually, we'll have a way to more so automate this, but for now, just make sure you keep an eye on it, the food and the water, so that way your animals don't starve. I think that's a good stopping point for now, but in the next video, we'll go through some more stuff on Ranch Simulator.